Alright guys, well we got a very long overdue update on the Dart. I was trying to get it done for a car show that's coming up this weekend, but well, as you can see, it's nowhere to where I wanted it to be for the show. I wanted to at least have it in base coat and have the suspension hydraulics and possibly have the engine dropped in, and well, yeah, that didn't happen. But since that's not gonna happen, I figured I might as well do an update on it. I did finally get the rust repair finished up on the quarters and in the wheel wells. I still gotta do the finishing body work on it, but at least it's solid again. You see here, I still got some spot welds to grind down. Like I say, I got the wheel wells here all welded up. I just gotta grind down them welds, and I gotta finish the lip off here yet. I gotta weld up. I ground the lip down, the wheel well lip, all the way down on the inside here. So I gotta weld that up 100%, and then start doing the finishing body work. I did fuck up, and I had it lifted up in the back here with the cherry picker, except I had a strap and chains going from the rear leaf spring hangers, and I put a big dent in it right here. You can see it where I sanded it. This is the dent it left. I am going to pull that back out. I got a dent puller, stud puller. I will pull that back out, but to help hide it, I always wanted the 75-76 taillight trim on it, and I was finally able to get that. But for you A-body guys, when I bought it, I did get two taillight trims, but they both end up being left side trims. I did not get a right side. The car it came off of, that quarter panel was smashed in, and when the guy took them off, there was one laying in the trunk. Me and him both figured that one would assume it would be one to fix that right side. No, we were both wrong. Didn't pay too much attention. They both ended up being left sides. So if anyone knows of a right side taillight trim for a 75-76 Dart Sport, let me know, because I would be definitely interested in that. But for now, I'll just have to fix that dent and run the stock taillights. Another thing is, this quarter here, when I bought the car 10 years or more ago, I never noticed that this quarter was repaired once before and it was all mudded up. I didn't find that out until I was sanding it down for paint. But there's this body line, there's the body line, lower body line here that comes up, and then there's one that goes through the middle here, and they all intersect in this corner. But I tried mudding it up, getting it smooth, and that didn't work. So what I think I'm going to do is, I got this piece of quarter panel, and I think I'm going to end up cutting that out and probably cut it right about here-ish, and weld that in, so that way I get all my body lines that are nice and crisp, because I am not a body guy. I cannot straighten that. And I attempted the left front fender here. This is off of a different car, but this was mudded up as well, and you can see where someone had a stud gun and tried pulling it out. I see there's a hole right there I gotta fix, but I did weld up that, but it is not smooth. I tried hammering and dollying it out. It's better, but it's far from perfect. And there's a couple dents, one right here and one right here, that I can't get to because the whole headlight bucket assembly is spot welded in there. I'm not drilling that all out. So this will get a skim coat of mud to try and straighten that out. But as far as other body work, the whole engine bay is base coated, painted, base coated. The cowl is, and I got Both doors are jammed, base coat, and the right side door jamb here is in base coat along with the door. So we are making headway, very slowly, but we are getting there. And another thing on the front fenders here is I am no longer running the stock hinges that mount down on the side of the cowl here. So what I am going to do is I'm going to have to make some filler pieces. This is just a temporary piece I bent up just to try and get my curves right. But I'll end up body welding that to the fender here. And I got this big gap here I'll have to fill up and everything too. So that's got some body work. I know, where is it? There's a rustle here I gotta fix. I did weld up the antenna hole, because I won't be using that. But body work is slowly getting there. But I swear I am undiagnosed ADD because I cannot concentrate on one thing. As you can see, I got the fender there, I got rear bumper pieces, I got the front bumper over there on the floor. I'm working on the seats. I did get vinyl top trim mounted, but I gotta get the weld-on studs for these little plastic trim clips. But I'm gonna end up cutting those off the rocker of the blue car over there, Blueberry. Since these rockers are shot and need to be replaced anyways, I will just take them off. These little bastards. So let's just cut these out, grind them up, clean them out, and weld them onto that roof. I got the proper tool for the stud gun to weld them on, so that shouldn't be too bad after I clean them. I'll sandblast them before I cut them off. Now that I got my sandblasting cabinet working, which, if you don't know, with these cheap Harbor Freight sandblasters, the siphon gun doesn't work with the shit. So what you gotta do is, you can buy these for like, I want to say 50-60 bucks, but I made this one for like 30, for half the cost, and it works way better. But back to the car, since I'm sure you are wondering what in the hell is going on with the seats. Yes, those are boat seats, and they will be recovered, don't worry. But trying to figure that out has been a pain, because I was wanted to use the original bucket seat tracks. This was a bench seat car, so I dug out some of my seat tracks, but I got 2 pairs of right side, which don't help me at all for the left. I went to my old man's, dug around there, can't find any right now. But that worked out because that will not work. You can see I got the seat sitting on 2x4s on the original seat track here to try and figure it out, and it's going to be way too tall. With me sitting in here, I'm short, and with me sitting in here, I'm almost hitting my head on the roof. So that's a no-go. So my original plan, I cut out some steel plate here. Get these out of the way. I was going to mount the plate on the original seat tracks, and then I bought, and then these pieces of angle iron. I'll show you on the other seat, but so you get an idea. I had cut these pieces of angle iron. They'll bolt right to the seat, and then the plate. This plate will mount there, so I got room to bolt my base to that, which I will show you on this seat. So what I'm doing, since I can't find seat tracks, the left side, and it is too tall anyways, this plate that I was going to mount on the top of the seat track is now bolted right to the floor, Here is that bracket I was talking about I was going to make for that seat, the other seat. I just tacked it together. I got finished welding it. And then I got a boat seat swivel here for that old school 70s vibe that I'm going for. And I end up making 1-inch spacers. These are temporary, but 1-inch spacers to get the seat height I need. Because that swivel will mount to the bolt to the plate somewhere right around there, I believe. And now when I sit in here, adjust it here, I got way more head clearance here, which is more gooder, and I'm not sitting too high. The door jamb, you know, yeah, that'll be about right. So that'll work perfect, and that's why I got the dashboard in here, so I can see where I'm going to be sitting in here. I got the column so I can get, you know, figure out where that's going to sit, so I'm not sitting way too close to it. And this is just the mock-up. This is the original column, but I'm just using it for mock-up, since the one for it is in base coat, just like the dashboard. But since I'm running the center console, I got a like a 4-speed type floor shift column for it. But the dash will not be running a dash pad. I don't know if I showed this before. I'm not running a dash pad, so I had to fill in a bunch of square, ugly holes through the dash. And I made my own defrost vents because the original plastic ones just weren't cutting it. So these ones are actually louvers that I cut down off of a furnace door, old furnace door, which worked out perfect. And looks way better in my opinion, but what do I know? Like I said, I got that vinyl top trim on, but I had to fill in this here because this side did not match the right side. So I had to fill this in a little bit. I still got to body work it a little bit. But I am not running a vinyl top. I got something planned for that. It'll be painted, but I got something in mind. Hopefully it'll turn out. And speaking, since we're on the interior, I'm wondering what other guys with the fold-down rear seat Dart Sport and Duster are running for rear speakers, because I do not want to hack up these panels here. I got the seat belt just mounted in here real quick, and I was going to run 6.5-inch speakers, but I can't do that without even hacking up this panel so it'll fit in here one way or another. And I can't mount any up there on the shelf because of the trunk lid torsion bars, and I can't mount any here because I won't have any room. As you can see the frame there, I made that frame. This piece of stainless slide in there, it'll bolt on. There'll be 3 bolts on the front, 3 bolts on the rear, and my hydraulic pumps mount there. And then it'll be all hard lined going down to my bulkhead fittings down here. I got the wires here, wires I ran for the dumps. Switch plate wiring, that's all I ran. I still got to figure out where I'm going to mount this, because I was going to mount it right here on the dash, but then I remembered this car has a inside hood release, so this might have to get moved over here or something. So yeah, it's been figuring out one thing after another on this damn car. The rear bumper here, the inner brace, inner support here is completely rotted, and it just from the get-go it's big and ugly. So I unbolted that and I made my own. Let me get my light here. since these are not reproduced for, I don't think, any of these cars, and the early 73 brackets, rear bumper brackets, don't match the bumper or the holes in this rear valance here. I made this rear bumper inner structure out of just 3/8 flat stock. I got a couple uprights here to strengthen it and hold it together. This part here is the only part that I saved off of that. This bracket here, mounting it to the car itself, is all made. Originally this car had rear bumper shocks, but this panel is for an earlier A body, so it doesn't have the provisions for the rear bumper shocks that mount to the frame rail here. You can see I got part of it up here, but there's no way that would go through here, so I am making my own out of cut a piece of plate out, welded a piece of pipe to it, and welded it back to the factory bumper mount. And then I had to make my own license plate light, because the original one was broken and there's no way to mount it, so I made this little bracket for this Ford license plate light. Yes, I know, Ford. But it's not the only Ford part in here. If you remember, that sunroof came out of a 02 Ford Escort, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But I didn't have a plug for this light, which I happen to match up, and it is the same as a Ford ignition coil plug. So I ordered a set of pigtails for that. I'll wire that into the factory license plate light, and that'll all work just fine. I know you're probably seen that the rear bumper filler. I know a lot of people get rid of that, but I put the bumper up there without that, and it just didn't look right. There's still big ugly gaps around it, and it didn't fit tight to the body like I liked. So I put the filler back on there, and I'll end up painting that same as the body, and it'll look fine. What else is on here? Oh yeah, I got the front bumper dug out so I can take off all the bumper brackets in the this inner support structure here, so I can blast and paint all that. I'll blast the inside of the front and rear bumper, and I'll always hit it with base coat, same as the dash and everything. Well, I'm undecided if I should just leave the inside of the bumper silver, or if I should paint it to match the outside of the car, which will more than likely be candy red over chrome flake. I'm kind of leaning towards that, but we'll see once I get them painted and base coat and go from there. I did have this car, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago. I did have the car sitting on its own suspension. As you can see, I got the front suspension in it still. I pulled the rear suspension out so I could take and finish welding up the rust repair and the quarter panels so that wheels and shit weren't my way. And I will post a couple pictures of it sitting on the ground on its suspension, and it sits low, like it's real low when it's dropped down all the way. So, and I can still be able to cruise it with it dropped down, which is perfect, which is what I want. But when I did that, I did find an issue with the front suspension. When I drop it down, this little lip on the upper control arms would hit the shock tower here. So I'm gonna have to take and, I still haven't done it, but I got it marked out where I'm gonna cut this top lip off, and then we'll try it again on both sides, front and back on both control arms. Remember, the outside of the frame rails are plated with 1/4" steel. The shock tower is made out of 1/4" steel. And I got this, I believe it's schedule 40 pipe, might be schedule 80 pipe. But I had this bent up. It's welded on the front and the back. And then I made it, it's welded to the shock tower and then plus added this gusset in. I'm debating on adding a gusset from here to the firewall and then weld it to the inner fender here as well, just to help triangulate it and brace it up even more. Maybe, I don't know. I know a lot. I know there's a stiffening kit that you can buy that comes with the frame connectors, the torque boxes, and this structure support right here. Whether or not I'll add that, I don't know. Which is going to suck if I do, because I got the inner fenders all base coated, painted already. Oh well. And then I was planning on running the front sway bar in here, because the bottom of the K-frame is plated with 1/4" steel. So I made this hole big enough to sneak it in there. But with the sway bar on there, with the brake calipers on the front, when I turn, the calipers would hit the sway bar. And I know the sway bar mounted car, or the sway bar equipped cars, the caliper is mounted on the rear. But when I did that, then the calipers would hit my power ball here for the hydraulic cylinders. So that ain't gonna work. And even then, it's gonna be real close with this brake line right here, which I do have new brake lines. I still got order calipers, but I got new brake lines and all the hardware and stuff. I did finally find my brake line tabs here, because I cut it was mounted onto the original, the bump stop that went down here is all one piece welded on. So I cut them off, and I finally found them. They were on the brake lines that were on the calipers, which were on the original K-frame that were under the front of Blueberry under there, over there. That was a mouthful. But I got that. Pretty sure I got that situated now. I got the rear suspension, that's all situated. I ended up having to redo the rear cylinder mounts, because under here again, original plan was to have the cylinders mounted here, but with the axle in here, there was not enough room to have them up here and mounted upside down like this. So I ended up having to take and make these little boxes off the front, and I put it on there, and the cylinders they're close to the ground, but they will fit and clear as long as I don't get a flat tire. If I get flat, then there might be an issue, but let's just hope that don't happen. See what else is new on here. Oh yeah, and going back to that front bumper, these are the original bumper rubber bumpers, or bumper stops, whatever the hell you want to call them. Bumperettes. There we go. Those are big and ugly. I got these ones, I want to say they're off of a 72 or 73, which are much more sleeker looking, because they only got this one little rubber strip instead of this big 3-inch one. And they match. The rear is better. But the issue I have with the earlier ones is, of course, the mounting is different. 74 has just one stud that goes through one of the brackets, is one of the bumper bolt brackets. Where the 72 or 3, wherever year this one is, has two bolt holes, and they don't line up with any of the holes on the bumper. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to cut this part out, and then, well, instead, because I don't want to drill new holes in the bumper, so I'm gonna cut this out. I'm gonna just cut this part here off, weld a piece of flat bar in there, drill a hole, and weld a bolt on there at the right angle I need there, so it'll bolt on like factory, it'll look factory, nobody will know. Let's see. The whole underside of the car is painted and undercoated. I just gotta get some more semi-gloss, I think it was, so I can paint the bottom sides of the inner fenders here and the front frame rails, because I don't want that all body color, because it's actually gonna get driven. It's not gonna be a trailer queen or just a show queen, even though we'll be going to shows, but it's gonna be driven there. Other than that, I don't know if that... I think that's everything. I'm going to say that's everything for now. I'm going to take and finish getting these seats mounted, figured out. And then I'll probably start going on to finishing up body work. Maybe. I'm dreading that. I'm not a body guy. But that's it for this episode. Wherever you guys want to see next, let me know. Bleep boop it down there in the comments. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you later.